How y'all doing? This is Jay again. I am doing another video. This one's gonna be a little short, quick one. It's not really all about tubes, but it's how to an alternative way to rig tubes. I like to use tubes quite a bit. I've recently started using them like the last 2 years. In the last month and a half or so, I've started rigging them this way, and I've caught quite a few more fish than I usually do when I rig them, and I'm not snagging up as much. I like to Texas rig, the tubes is one of my favorite ways to bring it through, pop it up a Texas rig. But with the nose weight, it's kind of a pain in the butt. And I don't know why I didn't think of this, but I saw this another YouTube video about bass fishing tips, and this guy's video, or his YouTube page, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what the hell to call it right now, but it's a Bassin Vlog, Vlog 25, and I learned this tip from him, so I'm giving credit for this tip. Just like I said in my first video, credit is due, and here's a cool little tip with tubes. So you have your regular tube. When you usually Texas rig a tube, you put a little bullet weight on the front, tungsten or lead, whatever you like to use. But you Texas rig it so you can get a weedless. But to have that weight gone, you take yourself a bell weight. This is what the gentleman from Bassin Blog said was a bell weight, and I've tried the straight weights for drop shotting, and those do not really work too well. I just don't like them. I've lost a couple lines with them on there, and I haven't lost any yet with this. So take your bell weight, get a little spit. Don't put it in your mouth, that's just bad. But get a little bit of spit on your bell weight. You see, got quite a nice little bit. Flip your tube upside down and slip in your bell weight. Once you get it in, as you can see, just squeeze the bell weight to the top, and once you get to the top, you'll see kind of protruding a little bit. I don't know if you can see that from there, but it is. And bring it up there, just squeeze up to the top. Get your hook, don't have it tied on, obviously. I mean, you do, but I don't for this demonstration. But squeeze the weight up to the top so you can see it. It's important to make sure you go through the center of the tube. Once you get it through the eye of the weight. And then just bring it out, regular Texas rig, slip it through. This is a 3/0 hook. I like to use a 2/0 for these tubes. My favorite tube is these little 2.5-inch tubes. But I should have grabbed a 2/0, but I have a 3/0. But you should rig it up, and bam, you got Texas rig tube with no weight. Usually eyes through the top, but it's a 3/0, it's kind of big. Had to force it for this tube anyways. But yes, this is a good way to rig them. When you just jig them upwards, and you let them die almost like a Senko or something, they just erratic, up and down fall, just everywhere, and the fish seem to like that. And I just love to use these, and just this new rigging is amazing. I've used it. I mean, I've alternated up to the old rig that I've used, Texas rigging and everything. I'm trying to change it, but I've had one on each pole, just to try and see the difference as I was fishing. Throw this one quite a few times, and then throw the other one maybe double, and I still caught more fish rigged up like this. So go ahead and get yourself a bell weight, a couple tubes. I like to use a 2/0 hook, and go ahead and try it. I think you'll like it. It works really well from my experiences, and yeah, that's it. Oh, and then I can do it right now. I'll have to go get a pair of scissors. It'll take me like 5 seconds. But let me grab out my other boxes. Another little trick that I learned from the gentleman from Bassin Vlog 25. Give me 1 second to go grab some scissors, and I'll be right back. And he's back. Another little trick I learned. Let me find myself an old tube. Bam, an old tube. Actually, I already busted up. But what you want to do if you like to throw wacky rigged, you know, a little wacky rigged Senko, I'm sure as everybody else knows. And I have another tip. I don't have the piece I need for the other tip. I'm out. I haven't bought any since last year, but I'll tell you about it and I'll show you in an upcoming video. But a little tip he gave me: when you know if you throw wacky rig Senkos or sink worm stick baits, whatever, they're all the same to me. But I just say Senko because everybody uses that term. But if you throw the stick baits, you know, after throwing them a few times, even they tear up. Even just casting, you know, not catching fish, working that bait back and throwing it out there, especially on a bait caster if that's what you're using for the Senko. I like to use the Senko on my bait casting pole just because I don't have a the medium heavy spinners seem to be a lot lighter than a medium heavy bait caster, so I don't have a heavy spinner pole, so I like to use my bait caster a lot of the time throwing a wacky. But what he said to do is get yourself, you know, if you use tubes, I save all my old baits. I don't throw them out, you know, because there's nowhere to throw them, so I pretty much save them. I throw them away after I burn them up, or if I can't figure out another way to use them. But he said take your old tube. This one, the head's already busted off, but I'm just gonna cut it clean since it's not a very even cut. Cut off the head of your tube. Then get about a ½ inch of tube or so, ½ inch, 3/4, whatever you prefer, just about a ½ inch. Cut the tube again, so you have your ½ inch piece of tube just sitting there. And what he said to do is get your Senko and slide that tube over. And hopefully, if you're like myself or the other gentleman from Bassin Vlog, you use a lot of tubes and a lot of Senkos or stick worms, whatever, so you'll have them left over, different colors, you know, different varieties, so you can probably match them up because I have a lot of the same color Senkos and tubes. But what you want to do, I'm using a green pumpkin tube with red glitter and green glitter, and the Senko is 100% identical, but you get a little bit of spit on it. I like to actually use this silicone spray I have. I rinse them off in the sink and everything once I'm done, you know, so I don't get, well, try not to get any of the toxins. Use hot water, but yeah, rinse those off, and that works a lot better. You spray a little bit of silicone spray, it's on. But with a little bit of spit, a little bit of time and effort, there we go. Stretch the back side of the Senko. Ha! I didn't know that one. Haven't used this much, but yeah, you slip it over in the middle of your Senko. Now you have that tube body, reinforces that Senko, makes it a lot stronger. I actually did throw it like this. It stayed on. I didn't lose the Senko at all. I caught 2 bass on it, but yeah, it stays on pretty well. And you just want to get this with your little wacky hook. I don't have any of my weed guard hooks, but I have a really thick drop shot hook right here that can work as a wacky little round hook, you know. And a lot of people, sometimes they use some pretty big round hooks. Right now I can't remember what size this is because round hooks are different from wide gaps, and that's what I use 90% of the time when I buy most of my hooks. But this right here is just a round hook. If you want to do, what I like to do anyways, is get it about 3/4 of the way through the Senko. So as you can see, it's about 3/4 of the way through, like the diameter of the Senko. So you have the better half, if you could see that, the Senko on top of the hook. So the Senko sitting on top of the hook, so now you have a lot more Senko to mess with before it breaks off or wears through. And I like to do it that way. So now you have yourself a thick little tube body. The tube body, I don't think it affected the fish. I didn't use it all that long. I don't think that thickness right there makes any difference. It might even help, I don't know, little chubby worm, or I don't even think these really do represent worms, they just eat them. Shit. But yeah, that helps quite a bit. This is from Bassin Vlog 25. Thank you very much for that tip. I have another way to rig it up, which if you can do the other way, I think it's a much better way. It keeps the Senko a little bit slimmer. But this is a great tip, and I'm sure I'm going to use it in the future when I don't have any O-rings. O-rings is what I use the other way I do it, and they work great. I haven't torn up any worms with O-rings, and I have not lost any worms from using the O-rings. I mean, I've used the same worm multiple days, you know, going out one day and the next day had the same worm on there, throwing wacky the whole day on that one pole, and it's still great, good to go. But yeah, I don't have any O-rings with me, but if you go to your Ace Hardware, Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever you have, they sell an assortment of O-rings. You can go in the drawers, bring your Senkos with you. You know, if you use the little Stinger Senko, not Stingers, but little 3-inch, because you know different thicknesses. You know, if you use the big old 7 or even the 9-inch ones, but bring them with you. Get an O-ring that fits snugly around the body, not killing it, but you know it's a little bit of a pain in the butt to get up the body. And slip up your O-ring, and what you do that way, you put your hook, just pull this hook out, and we can pretend this is my O-ring. But what you do, you just, this was the edge of the O-ring right here on the edge of the slip, as you can see. Slip your hook under the O-ring, so it would be piercing, or not piercing, but it would be underneath the O-ring. Once you do that, you flip your worm over your hook. So the hook is going underneath the worm through the O-ring, keeping it on. The O-ring's keeping the worm on the hook. Once you have it like that, you're set. I mean, you'll fish that worm all day long, and that's the best way. The shop down here has O-rings that fit, different sizes for the little local tackle shop, different sizes for different size Senkos. And they're amazing. I swear by them. I love them. If you have a tackle shop that sells them, or if you can get to a Bass Pro or Cabela's, I'm sure they have them for it. And it's a lot cheaper than going to Ace Hardware, because the O-rings have a purpose, and they cost a lot more. You can go to the tackle shop by my house. It's $3, I think, for 15. It's like $8 for 100, and I just buy the 100 packs, and I'm out right this moment. I don't have any with me. But yeah, a little tip for the Senkos: use a tube body, a little bit of spit or silicone spray if you have a bunch of tubes left over and you're gonna make it at home. If not, use an O-ring. I'll have a video with the future, because I'm sure I'm gonna talk about Senkos. But I'll have the O-ring on it, and I'll show you how to rig that up. But other than that, I hope you guys like the tube with the bell weight. Give it a try. I like to use a 2/0 hook for this 2.5-inch tube I have, which is actually like 4-inch with the little trailer on it, or whatever you want to say, the legs, danglers. But yeah, try out the bell weight thing. You know, give it a shot. Make sure the hook goes through the eye of the bell weight, and make sure you pierce the top of the tube dead center, because I've set it off to see, because sometimes the hook wants to pull back out, Texas rigged out of the top of the tube. So, and I've set it off, you know, to the side, pulled out, dead center works the best. If it slides down, pop it up, you know, like any other plastics. But yes, hope you enjoyed that, and I'll have another video soon.